So, what if you had the power to literally remake your world? And I don't mean with your hands or even with your logical mind, but from some kind of forgotten place deep inside you. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive right into Drinvala Melchizedek's book, Living in the Heart, to see if we can unlock that very power. This idea right here, it's really the foundation for everything we're about to get into. The basic proposal is this. Our reality isn't just something that happens to us, right? It's something we can actually actively shape, but only if we learn how to create from this very specific, sacred place inside. Okay, so let's get into it. And what's really fascinating here is that this story, it doesn't start where you'd think. We're not talking ancient spirituality or some dusty mystical texts. Nope. It all kicks off with something super modern, a high-tech machine built to solve a major environmental crisis. So the author's whole quest really started with this device called the R2. Basically, it used the waveform of a rain cloud to just break down pollutants in the air. And the thing is, it actually worked. I mean, back in 1996, it completely cleared the famously awful air pollution in Denver, Colorado. A total win for logic and technology, right? But this timeline, this is where you see a really stunning and super fast evolution. Just look at the shift here. In 96, you need this complex machine to clean up pollution. Okay, makes sense. But then, just 1 year later in Australia, the author apparently uses only a specific kind of meditation to end a severe drought. And then, a year after that, in Mexico City, that same meditation technique carves a 3-mile-wide hole in the smog that lasts for hours. The source of this power was so clearly shifting from something outside to something inside. And then comes this moment that just changed absolutely everything. During another meditation, this time in England, they were just trying to clear some dense fog, and something totally unexpected happens. A man who had been stuck in a wheelchair for 10 years, he just stands up and walks away, healed. I mean, that was the turning point. This wasn't about influencing the weather anymore. This was something way, way deeper, a power that just blew past anything logic or technology could even begin to explain. All right, so let's move on to our next section, seeing in the darkness. Because this power, it wasn't just influencing weather or even healing the body. The authors started to find out it was also connected to an almost unbelievable form of human perception. And this discovery, of course, led to a really critical question. I mean, if our consciousness can affect the physical world in such a dramatic way, what else can it do? Could it actually be possible to, perceive the world without using your physical senses at all? Like seeing without your eyes? Well, the source material documents these incredible cases that just seem to defy all explanation. For instance, there's Marianne, a blind woman whose inner vision was apparently so clear that NASA used her to track satellites. Then you've got Inge Bardor, a girl who could see with her hands and feet, describing not just what was in photos, but the private lives of the people in them. And then there's the superpsychics in China, kids who were documented by government scientists reading words on crumpled paper that was placed under their armpits. Just wild stuff. Okay, and here's a huge clue. When you ask them how they do it, how they see, both Marianne and Inge, and remember, these are people who've never met, lived worlds apart, they describe the exact same, really peculiar internal setup. They both talked about a central TV screen in their mind's eye, with smaller screens around it feeding them data. I mean, that suggests this isn't just some random psychic gift, right? It's a specific structured way of perceiving reality. So to really understand this modern mystery, the author realized he couldn't look to modern science for the answers. He had to look backwards, to the past, to the wisdom held by the world's most ancient indigenous cultures. And what he discovered was that this ability, it's not some new superpower or a weird mutation. It's an ancient human faculty, a forgotten truth that people like the Australian Aborigines, the Maori of New Zealand, and the Kogi of Colombia have seemingly known about all along. I mean, just take the Kogi tribe of Colombia, for example. They talk about something called the language with no words. It's a form of communication that lets them connect with animals, with the earth, with each other, and they're very clear. This language, it doesn't come from the logical brain. They say it comes from a sacred space inside the heart. And get this, look at how they train their spiritual leaders, who they call the Mamas. A special child is chosen at birth, and for the first 9 years of their life, they're raised in complete darkness. They're taught to see and perceive the world only with their inner vision, not their physical eyes. You see the connection, right? This ancient training is a direct parallel to that modern phenomenon of seeing in the darkness. They're literally cultivating the exact same ability. So we've got all these incredible clues stacking up, right? We have meditations that change the weather and heal bodies. We have people who see without their eyes using this weird inner TV. And we have ancient tribes who speak a language that comes from the heart. All these threads, they're all pointing to one single profound revelation. The answer to the mystery, the source of this incredible power, the place where this inner sight comes from, the home of that language with no words, it's all located in one very specific place. And it's not in the brain. It's in what the author calls the sacred space of the heart. So what is the sacred space of the heart? Well, it's described as a timeless dimension of consciousness that exists inside every single human being. It's the point where creation itself actually begins. It's the source from which a reality comes into being, a place where, as the book says, all things are possible. So really, what we're talking about here are two completely different ways of being. You've got the mind, right? It operates through logic, reason, and it's constantly processing data from the outside world. But then, you have the heart. And it contains its own intelligence, its own feelings, and a direct connection to a single unified reality. And here's the thing, this isn't just poetry or spiritual talk. Modern science is actually starting to catch up to this ancient wisdom. For instance, researchers at the Institute of Heart Math have discovered that there are about 40,000 brain cells, actual neurons, inside the human heart. It's like a little brain that can sense, feel, and remember, totally independent from the brain up in our head. And what's more, the heart generates this massive electromagnetic field. It's a powerful, donut-shaped field that's the biggest of any organ in the body. We're talking 8 to 10 feet in diameter. Think about that. The heart's influence literally extends way out beyond our physical bodies. So, why does any of this matter to you? Why should you care? Because according to the author, this isn't some special ability that's just for psychics or ancient shamans. This is for everyone. It's our shared human birthright. And really, this is the most important message of all. This sacred space in the heart, it's not just a nice theory or a metaphor. It is a real physical place that anyone can enter. It's a place inside every single one of us. So, how do you get there? Well, the path is described as being pretty straightforward. First, you have to consciously move your awareness out of your mind. And second, you allow that awareness to enter the secret space within your heart. And that really leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought, doesn't it? If it's really true, if this sacred space inside your heart is the very place where reality begins, the starting point of all creation, then what new world would you dream?
I feel the spirit and the body wrapped in light, spinning through the fabric of the night. I'm rewriting history. Mer-Ka-Ba, the mind is the shaper, the heart is the flame. I'm changing the world when I speak the name. Ascending in the energy, but the geometry was cold, just a machine of spinning air, until I found the secret that was hidden in there. It doesn't run on intellect, it doesn't run on might. It only starts to spin when the heart is shining bright. Love is the fuel, love is the key, love is